the 24-inch iMac with the M1 chip. Cons, pros, demos, and at least 10 really great writer features today on Writer Gadgets and Workflow. Hey everybody, welcome back to Writer Gadgets and Workflow. I'm author Brady, and I am back today to talk to you a little bit more about my new Apple iMac 24-inch with the M1 chip. Now, we know I've been sitting with this for about a week now, and I've promised you to come back with my top 10 favorite Writer Gadget and Workflow features in the Apple iOS, right? So I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, but first I thought I should probably just give you some of my initial impressions about the iMac and what I think. So I was going to do a little cons, pros, and demos today. Now, obviously, as I sit with this a little bit longer and get more familiar with it and get more familiar with the features and the issues and stuff like that, I'll probably have more to talk about. And so I'll come back with something else later. But I at least want to give you my initial impression since I've had it for like a week, okay? So we're going to do cons, pros, and demos. And I'm going to start with the cons. And I really don't have a whole lot so far, but I have a few things. My first con is that, there's a lot of features on this in the Apple iOS, but they're not intuitive, right? So if you're if you're like me and you're used to just getting onto the computer, opening up your Word document, typing and all of that kind of stuff, Apple, it doesn't really come with a user manual, right? They have some tutorials that pop up, and if you don't click on the pop-up when it first comes out, you might miss it, and you don't know how to pull that back up. I honest to goodness, I struggled. I was like, I don't know how to pull this tutorial back up, and so I actually had to go on Google and search it and pull it up that way and kind of walk through the stuff. But it's not intuitive. So if you don't take the effort to go through and find out what all these features are, you're never going to use them. Honest to goodness, the truth. I've had Apples for years. I want to say since 2014, 2015 is when I started buying Apple. No, maybe 2013. Okay. So that's 8 years, right? And I haven't used a quarter of the features that this has in it. It's ridiculous. So it's not intuitive. That's my first con. There's a lot of good stuff in here, but it's not intuitive. And if you don't go research and figure out what's there and how to use it. Okay, so 2 is I am a little bit miffed at Apple because there's no user manual and it's not really easy, to just read through and see what all the goodness this has. My Apple has been grossly underutilized for the past 8 years. 8 years. I'm sure a lot of this is new, right? A lot of this is new, but I'm sure there were features and stuff that were in the system years ago that I wasn't using because I really was not thinking to go out and figure out all the magic, right? So, and especially over the last, the move from Catalina to Big Sur, which is the most recent one, the most recent operating system. Honest to goodness, there's so much stuff in it. And there was a lot of stuff in Catalina. But all these little tips and tricks, like I say, if you don't put forth the effort to go find it, you will have grossly underutilized Apple product. What I hope in showing you the 10 features is, one, that you will at least use the features that are in here. And if you haven't bought Apple and you plan to buy Apple, I hope that this video will help you get more, utilize your tools better and get the most out of them, because I'm like, are you kidding me? This does this? There's so many things that it does, and I had no idea. Honest to goodness, I had no idea. I was like miffed after I finished doing the videos and, looking at all the features. I was a little miffed because I was like, really? This thing's been doing this all along? This could have made my life so much easier had I actually known it existed. Apple, seriously, they need to do something better than that little pamphlet that they provide in the... Hey, dudes, print up a little manual, okay? And send it with... We pay $1 million for these products. Send a little manual. It doesn't have to be long, but you could at least give us a pamphlet to tell us what all the features are that we should go look for. My goodness. So, I was a little miffed about that. So that's my second con. My second con is that there are features in here and that this tool has been grossly underutilized because I did not know they came. And they come inherent in the software in every product. So you don't even have to buy extra stuff for this. It just comes with the system, which is insane. Some of the stuff, when you see it, you're going to be like, really? It comes with the system. So, okay. My con number 3 is that, honestly, to get the most out of the Apple iMac, for instance, we're talking about the iMac, the 24M1 iMac. Really, to get the most out of it, you have to have a second tool, okay? My thinking is the best combination is a computer plus a mobile device, right? So if you get the iMac, you should have the iPhone or an iPad. If you have a MacBook, you should have an iPhone or an iPad. Whatever generation, if you want to get one, a newer generation or whatever. But you're not going to get the full utility out of a tool if you just only buy the iMac. Now, you're going to get a lot of utility. Don't get me wrong. It's not like it's going to be useless. But what I found looking at these features is you need two to really get the full, to really get the full utility out of all the features that that Apple offers. They truly have made this for an ecosystem. Okay, gotta have it. And I would say 3 things. I would add the watch, and the reason I add the watch, besides all the features that the watch has, when you set it up with your iMac, it automatically unlocks it. So you can literally sit down and just go straight to work without having to type in a password. And even with these, the new ones, right, you have the Touch ID. So you can just, hit the Touch ID to start. But to me, it's even faster when you have a watch and you can just sit down and it automatically, wakes up and it's ready for you to type. So I would highly recommend having the iWatch too. So if you're gonna get the ecosystem, get the computer, get a secondary device. It can be an iPhone, which, a lot of people already carry. And then, the cherry on top, let's call it, is having the iWatch. Okay. So those are the cons that I have. Okay. Now let's get to the pros. Pro number one, this thing is so freaking fast. It's unreal fast. Like, compared to even my iMac 27, compared to my MacBook 16-inch, there's no comparison. Like, in speed, I keep 1,000 windows open up on Safari and Google Chrome and Google daily. Then I open up apps like Word, like Photoshop, to do book stuff. And then I have a Christmas movie podcast. So the Logic Pro that my son uses for music production, which he uses on the same computer on another account I have open on my account, using it for to record my my Christmas movie podcast. And what I will say, never even a slight hesitation, pause, anything. We have all these apps open at once. As a matter of fact, they're open right now. I could tell you, even when I was recording this on my MacBook, like, I would be, I'd be in the middle of recording and I could see it like stutter, kind of, like I could see the slowdown of the recording, and it would pause. There would be multiple pauses while not even a hint of that as I'm recording this. So the speed is unreal. It's absolutely unreal. I am thrilled about that. That makes this one, I gotta tell you, if they come out with a 27-inch with the M1, I may have to replace the one in my office, just because I can feel the difference in the speed. And now that difference in the speed has become annoying on my other iMac. So I'm not gonna, like, what I usually do is just buy another one. I'll trade that in. But I would trade that in for a 27-inch if it comes out. That's how much of a difference I feel in the machines. Yes, seriously. It's that deep. Pro number 2. Features. Okay. It's a con when I don't know about the features. But now that I know about the features, it's a pro. And there's so many features. So much stuff that I do daily that can be made easier. That has, now that I've learned it, it's so much easier to do some things. For instance, when I'm doing social media, right? It's easier for me to type up some of that stuff, some of those tweets and things that I do. It's easier for me to type it up, on the iMac, because I have a full keyboard and I can do that, and I'm not trying to do this thing with my thumbs on my phone, right? That gets annoying. But moving those messages from my computer to my phone has been the pain. Normally what I would do is just copy and paste it into Notes, right? Notes is available on all my devices, and then I would copy it from Notes and move it into my social network. I don't even have to do that anymore. You're going to see this feature called the Universal Clipboard. Oh my gosh. You'll see in a little bit. When I tell you some of these things, and it's just time saving, and it's, annoyance saving. These are just fantastic features that come built in to the system. when you see this, it's really going to be hard for you, like, to be on you're going to look at PC a lot differently. I look at PC a lot differently now. And I'm in the Apple ecosystem. Anyway, pro number 3. The camera, the sound, the recording, the mic, all of it sounds so much better than on any other tool that I have, honestly. I wasn't getting this kind of sound except for when using my Apple AirPod Maxes. And then I was getting great sound, great mic. But without that, I was not getting the great sound. Now, inherent in this, great sound, great camera. I got a comment, somebody was saying how they said use a ring light because it's too dark. I had a ring light and it was on and it was still dark. And I was like, well, there's not a whole lot I can do about that. I'm not making money off this. I'm doing it just for the love of gadgets and for the love of other writers who love gadgets. So because I'm not making the money off it, I was like, I'm not going to invest in something like Final Cut Pro or something like that. But so I'm using iMovie, which is also within the Apple ecosystem. It just comes on the computer. But the issue was the darkness, and it only allows you to adjust so much. You're not going to get that. But anyway, now I can just record on the iMAC 24 with M1, and it's brighter. The sound is better. I don't even have to plug in my my mic. That's just incredible. So I will say that you buy these external tools to do these podcasts and stuff. Now I can do it with what is literally in the machine. I don't have to buy anything extra. That's pretty major. Pro number 4, and this is my last pro before we get to the features demonstration, but pro number 4 is that it integrates seamlessly with everything. So even though it is the latest Apple and it's got that M1 chip, if you're in the Apple ecosystem, what I will say is you're not going to have any problems. I got to tell you this funny story. So my son was up here doing his class on this because he does some classes. He does one class, he goes to school, but the other classes are remote. So he does his class on, I think they use Zoom or something for classes, right? So he's on this. I'm downstairs in my office, and it's not close, right? I'm downstairs in my office, and I have my AirPod Maxes. This computer, now I got the dog and took the dog for a walk. My AirPod Maxes connected to this computer, and I could hear his class, and he couldn't. And it stayed connected halfway down the block. That's incredible to me. That connection, it happened seamlessly. I was downstairs. I was, doing my work on my PC because I work on a Dell for work. And that I had my iPhone in my hand, and I was walking out the door, and that when I was walking out the door with the dog to take the dog around, the AirPod Max is connected with this computer because when I was down in the foyer. That's insane to me. What other system do you know will do that, right? So when I got outside, I actually had to take them off to get it to disconnect. And then actually when I put it back on, it connected to my iPhone. But that was crazy. So as I was walking out, I could hear his class and I could hear his teacher speaking. And he was texting me, "Mom, I can't hear anything, but I can hear you." That's insane. Oh man. So anyway, integrate seamlessly. That's my integrate seamlessly story. So anyway, today's video went a little bit longer than I thought it would when I got into talking about my initial impressions. So I am dividing up this video. The demos will be in the immediate next video. If you're new to the channel, please, before you go over to check out the demos, like and subscribe, leave a comment if you like, and we'll see you in the next video.